She definitely fits pretty well in the category of billionaire. How she would pay the $90 million bill, maybe she has to sell some of her skim steak.
Kim Kardashian is worth roughly $1.9 billion, and Bianca Censori is worth somewhere between -16 and $5 million, which is the least competitive comparison I have ever put in a video. That is not a gap. That is a different postcode. That is a different tax bracket, a different accountant, a different species of financial planning. And here is what actually matters about that number, because it is not just the size of it, it is where it came from. Kim Kardashian owns about a third of Skims. Owns it. Not fronts it, not endorses it, not gets a check for showing up. Actual equity in a company that closed a $225 million raise last November at a $5 billion valuation, led by Goldman Sachs, and is closing in on nearly $16 billion a year in net sales. Her stake alone sits at roughly $1.67 billion on paper. Bianca Censori's money, on the other hand, comes from a salary at Yeezy and from her marriage. One woman built a thing. The other woman is employed by a thing. That is the whole comparison in one sentence, and we have not even started. Bianca Censori has a bachelor's and a master's degree in architecture from the University of Melbourne, and Kim Kardashian never finished an undergraduate degree at all. So the second we step off the money and onto the qualifications, the entire scoreboard flips. Bianca Censori actually trained. She worked at an architecture practice in Melbourne. She started a jewelry label called Nylons back around 2013 when she was 18, before any of this existed. Then she joined Yeezy in November 2020 as head of architecture, which is a real job title with real responsibilities, not a decorative one. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian spent 6 years grinding through California's law office study program, which is the apprenticeship route into law, passed the baby bar on her 4th attempt, finished the whole program in May 2025, and then failed the actual bar exam that July. She announced it herself in November, with the line that she is not a lawyer yet, she just plays a very well-dressed one on television. Honestly, iconic response. She skipped the February sitting and reportedly will not try again until 2027. Bianca Censori was briefly the most Googled person on the entire planet, and it took her about 4 seconds to get there. February 2025, the Grammys red carpet. She arrived in a black fur coat, dropped it, and what happened next generated more search traffic in one evening than most people generate in a lifetime. Kanye West posted screenshots of Google Trends afterwards, claiming over 5 million searches and calling her the most Googled person on the planet called Earth. He has since deleted those. And no, she was not thrown out, despite what half the internet still believes. She walked the carpet, he was there as a nominee, and they left. The Cannes Film Festival was so rattled by the whole conversation that it went and restated its own red carpet rules afterwards. So that is genuine cultural impact, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But here is the honest read. That was one night. Kim Kardashian has been doing this for 19 years.
The Kardashians are geniuses, and in our history, they're becoming one of the most successful group of people in history.
Kim Kardashian has around 344 million Instagram followers, and Bianca Censori has under 750,000. Let me put that in terms that land properly. For every -16 person following Bianca Censori, roughly 750 people are following Kim Kardashian. If Bianca Censori's entire audience walked out tomorrow, Kim Kardashian would not detect it. She would lose more followers than that in a routine platform purge. And in fact, she did, because Instagram cleared out inactive accounts this year and trimmed millions off every major profile, including hers. She barely blinked. Bianca Censori's account also goes quiet for months at a stretch, which is either a deliberate strategy or someone who simply does not fancy posting. And honestly, both are respectable. But reach is reach. One of these women can move a product, a headline, or a conversation by pressing send. The other one is famous because of what she wore to somebody else's award show. Those are not the same currency. Kim Kardashian's show All's Fair scored 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics' verdict was that it is too awful to love and too boring to conflict over. 6% across 33 reviews. Metacritic gave it 17 out of 100. That is not a mixed reception. That is a public flogging. And then here is the part that will make you laugh. It pulled 3.2 million views globally in 3 days, which made it Hulu's biggest scripted debut in 3 years. And it got renewed for a second season 20 days later. So the critics buried it, and the audience turned up in numbers anyway, which is basically the story of her entire career condensed into 1 month. She plays a divorce attorney in it, by the way, which, given the bar exam situation, is an irony nobody could have written better. She had already done American Horror Story before that and got surprisingly decent notices for herself. So she is not exactly winning acting awards, but she is absolutely winning the ratings, and only one of those pays. Bianca Censori launched a performance art project in Seoul, and half the internet is still convinced she launched an intimate apparel brand. Let me clear this up, because the misinformation on it is extraordinary. For months, the tabloids ran with a story that she was building an anti-Skims shapewear label called Bianca, funded to the tune of $10 or $20 million, designed as pure revenge. Then, December 2025 arrived, and what actually appeared was Biopop, a staged art performance, plus a luxury jewelry capsule of silver pieces inspired by surgical instruments, priced between roughly $1,650 and $3,900. One cuff went for about $2,250. The reviews were polite, but unkind. ArtNet described it as beautiful but boring as sin, which is a devastating thing to have in print about your debut. And it is billed as the first of 7 performances, running all the way through to 2032. So this is a long project, not a quick cash grab. There are no verified sales figures anywhere. Which means the honest answer is that nobody outside her team knows whether it worked. Bianca Censori sat down with Vanity Fair in February and directly shut down the idea that anybody controls what she wears. Her words were that she would not be doing something she did not want to do, that she and her husband work on the outfits together, that it was always a collaboration and never someone telling her what to do. And that interview is genuinely the most useful thing in this entire story, because it is the only place she has spoken properly for herself. She also explained how it started. Kanye West first reached out through Yeezy's general manager, right around the time Kim Kardashian filed for divorce, and the relationship grew from working in the same building. They married in December 2022, about a month after his divorce was finalized, on a confidential California license in Palo Alto, which is fully legal, despite years of people insisting it was symbolic. And in that same interview, she pushed back on Kim Kardashian's on-camera claim that he had not seen the children in months, saying he is a really awesome dad. That is the only documented direct exchange between these two women. Everything else is people guessing. Kim Kardashian is now being linked to Lewis Hamilton, and Bianca Censori's marriage is reportedly under strain, and the timing of those two things is not lost on anybody. Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton have been friends for over a decade, and the romance chatter started properly in February. They sat together at the Super Bowl. Nobody has formally confirmed anything exclusive, but the pictures are doing plenty of talking. And one description going around is that he is the first man she has been genuinely into in a long time. Meanwhile, Bianca Censori and Kanye West split in early 2025, got back together, and are still married as of right now with no divorce filed. He was photographed visiting her on a shoot in Los Angeles just over a week ago. The strain reports are thin and unconfirmed, so I am not building a narrative on them. But the contrast is impossible to miss. One woman is starting something new with a 7-time world champion. The other is holding a complicated thing together in public.